Welcome to part 2 of EJB's run in Bochum. We're going to review the losers finals and the grand finals here. Before we continue, again, it's a pretty long video because EJB had so many stream appearances, so a couple absolute RPS matchups have been sped up. Another thing I want to say is that it will be really appreciated if you follow the New Rocker stream. I'll drop the link in the description because they broadcast these regional streams and they do it really well. It would just be nice to drop a follow there. And the last thing, the team behind these streams also would like your feedback if you actually watch these regionals on how to improve these. I will also drop a link for that questionnaire. The matchup we're going to take a look at is EJB versus Chun, the person who knocked him out the winner's bracket in the first place. So this is basically a revenge. But first, they started off with a duo interview. Let's take a look at this real quick.
Welcome back. We just had this exciting matchup where EJ beat Arceus Aurelius, who is a very close friend of his, but unfortunately you have to do this before you get through matchups. And you said, an important thing that you said was there any trash talking? Because was he really your friend?
There actually was no trash talking
Oh,
between
so he's
us.
not your friend anymore.
Yeah, he tried to, but when in the first game, in the end he said, show me the Unreal. Show me the Unreal. And I was like, yeah, it's Unreal in the back. I thought he has draft, so I thought this game was over. I had flashbacks against like I had against Benchstaller. But it was knocked out and we still had to quite fight a bit and try to catch. But yeah, he tried to, but I just was too focused to get into it.
Yeah, I'm really glad. And just before we give to Chun, it's a great opportunity for you, right? You're one win away from being eliminated and one win away from being that much closer to punching a ticket to Worlds. How do you feel about it?
Obviously feeling fine, right? Since I mean, John was the one who dropped me to who kicked me to the loser bracket.
Yeah.
Like he was my only loss this entire weekend, and I haven't dropped a game since then. Like I went on a 2-0 win streak since then, so I'm feeling good, feeling fine. Feeling comfortable about my team. Like I haven't practiced a single bit before we actually started this tournament. Like one time, but it's just 3 battles. I'm feeling fine. I'm feeling good. And
all right, Chun, you are now going to play after quite a bit of break because there's been a lot of games going on. Have you been watching? Have you been trying to understand what people are playing?
Yeah, I try to watch all the battles and to see what people tend to use, but yeah, every battle is new, so yeah, even if you watch a lot, you still need to play the game.
that is true. And we've seen you, as EJ said, put him down into the lower bracket.
Yes.
Are you going to do this again?
I hope so. But yeah, today's a new day, so yeah, we will see how it goes today.
Yeah. EJ just told us before that he is afraid of your Dedenne. I think
Yes.
a lot of the teams here are afraid of your Dedenne because it was a very special pick coming out of nowhere and it has play against most of the Pokemon except maybe ground types. So that is a very, very strong pick for you. What was going in your head when you said, look, a Dedenne?
Yeah, I was something like, someone else told me, maybe you should use Lantern because that's more tankier. But I'm like, the Dedenne can also beat Umbreon and also Medicham and also Noctowl, especially the first 2 when shields are down. So I was like, I expect to see a lot of Medicham and Umbreon. So I was like, then the Dedenne does have a better play than a Lantern.
Yep, fair enough. Do you guys, I know, for me, when I'm playing, right, I have certain rituals. Like, I will always keep a bottle of water next to me, and then I will sip between every charge move. That's like my superstition when I'm playing. Do you guys have any of those?
No, I don't. Don't know if EJ has, but I don't.
I used to battle outside on the fresh air. Like when I do GBL sets, I usually play outside, or when I do important Silph or factions battles, I play outside. But that's basically the only thing. I like to sip coffee while playing, but it's like almost impossible on stream. So, but I'm addicted to coffee, and that's why I usually sip.
It's understandable.
Yeah.
But usually for me, it's like how I say good luck to the opponents as well. I have a specific format that I follow. It's like I am very superstitious when it comes to starting a battle.
Yeah, I mean, here on stage for me it's just easy. I just always ask if the opponent is also ready. Or I say I'm ready, then I don't log in because you don't want someone to start while someone is like not fully finished or fully in the game yet.
Yeah.
So I always tell I'm ready and good luck, and that's how we start the game. But
Yeah.
that's
So do you
just-
have any words for Chun before you go to the battle?
good luck, have fun, may the best be victorious. That's.
Are you both confident?
I think we both are. I think we both are. I think we both are ready to fight. And
Well, we know now it's a best of 5, right?
yes,
So you now have a little bit more leeway in planning for the games.
you mean I
also
can
have-
lock my wedgie steel 5 times into a Dedenne?
Yeah. Well, you can you can try it, but that would be highly unlikely. I hope.
We'll see. We'll
Well,
see.
we talk a lot about movesets and stuff in this, right? And you do have Zap Cannon and Focus Blast on your Registeel. Did the Dene make you want to consider a Flash Cannon?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Like, there's no way you can give up any of those moves in the current meta. So there's not changing a moveset for a Dedenne is like changing it for a Pidgey. You just want to.
Fair enough. Thank you so much for your time,
Thank you
and
too.
I wish you all the luck in your next match. And we're gonna leave here and go back to the casters. Good luck, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Bit of a long interview, but here we go into these battles. Jun is actually the one who took EJ from the winner's bracket, and this is actually a really good lead for EJB. Jun is actually one of the few people who can really make the Den and Lurantis work, because he played these Pokemon so many times. But this is not a great match for the Den, even though it gets it so low. Thunderstrokes don't add up. This is somewhat of an RPS matchup, so I sped this one up a bit more. If you remember the moveset from Medicham in the from last time against Chun, you'll see why. Shadow Ball actually is the correct play there. It does more than one seed bomb, so even though double resisted still does a little bit more. EJB throwing a Zapcan in here, really not necessary. Maybe he has forgotten the moveset of this Medicham, but it doesn't pack Psychic, so it's hard walled here. Actually, I'm not sure if Chun revealed Ice Punch at the time, but either way, one of the most important thing for EJB is to avoid that the Dena with pretty much about everything on his team. Registeel does okay, Trevenant beats it consistently, but Noctowl, Umbreon, Azumarill, Medicham are all Pokemon that are quite iffy against it. Since the Dennis moveset is also a little bit cumbersome in combination with its bulk, it's not entirely that great though. Like, if you go straight player off against Medicham, I'm not sure if you exactly beat Medicham there. But yeah, this Medicham is barely not going to make it. Needed the farm down. It didn't get the farm down. So that's 1-0 for EJB. And EJ this time leads his Umbreon into Medicham, which is really bad for him because his Medicham again packs Dynamic Punch. So neither of his Umbreon or Registeel win the zero shields here. And that's actually why I find this strategy of EJB very curious, because he loses really hard with both Pokemons here. Usually ABA, like leading weak to Medicham in the lead and having one Pokemon in the back weak to it is fine. But when it has Dynamic Punch, and you know this has Dynamic Punch because it threw a couple on your Azumarill, it's a little bit iffy. This Dynamic Punch will likely take it out. Actually doesn't. It survives at 1 HP. Crazy. And then your own Medicham is quite good here. Then Chun makes a good swap into Noctowl, baiting out this Registeel that's also weak to the Medicham. I guess Chun also expected that. And EJ just falls for it, right? Bringing it in. But you also kind of have to swap out. You can't really stay in. So basically, the perfect play you can do here, throw a Zapcan and farm down. One Shadow Ball already landed without any debuffs on it. So this one is going to get Reggie pretty low. I'm not even sure if you can honestly farm this all the way down. If you have a really good IV Noctowl, you do get to next Shadow Ball here. So this is probably not a breakpoint Noctowl. I might be wrong. Either way, Noctowl actually flipping this matchup, but it doesn't really matter. In this case, well, actually, it would have been nice to come out with the Zapcan, of course, but Medicham still on Medicham yet again, and this is actually pretty good for Chun because now the Umbreon doesn't have a bad matchup against EJB's Medicham, right? It doesn't have Dynamic Punch. Yeah, actually, losing that Zapcan definitely matters because you'd get this Medicham really low, and by now EJB definitely should be very sure it has no Psychic because Chun threw Ice Punches and Dynamic Punches now. His Ice Punch takes it out. There is Umbreon in the back. You still have a shield. Snarls do nothing. And this is very unfortunate for EJB, and he knows. He has a good matchup here with Metachamp against Umbreon, but Umbreon is good enough to take care of this low health Metachamp. Chun is just going to get to 2 foul plays here. EJB knows that this is very much over. So yeah, well, very well played by Chun there, just realizing it was going to be Registeel in the back all this time. And it looks like he's just not even going to bring the Den anymore. This time he brought the Lurantis, but doesn't get this on the Azumarill. And that's usually a bit high risk, high reward. Lurantis has really good coverage, but it's very iffy to use in a Flyers meta. And unlike Trevenant, it doesn't do as well against something like a Metagem that's on every team. You do have a better matchup against Umbreon, and so you at least you have that going for it. The superpower is really good coverage as well from Lurantis, backed up by the high attack stat. So let's see. And tries to catch an Ice Beam. Interesting play. Gets met by this Play Rough instead. I think Chun is just trying to sacrifice this. What do you do here as EJB? He's staying in, which I find very interesting. Tries to catch a move, but since Chun did times really well throwing in the bubble, he wasn't able to. And Ice Punch may barely not have killed yet, so I think this was a very good and safe play from Chun there. Now going for the Ice Punch though, because it doesn't have hard-hitting moves on the opposing Metachamp. And honestly, EJB's Metachamp looks ridiculously good at this point because it has super effective charge moves for both Noctowl and the Lurantis. I think EJB also just realizes that if the Metachamp is out of the way, his Registeel is just really good against most of his Pokemon. Ice Punch takes us out. Chun can't really shield because Lurantis kind of needs those shields. Focus Plus, I think there's like 70% as well from on the Lurantis. So with some counters, this Pokemon is not going to get much work done. As much as I like Lurantis, it's just really bulky. It really just needs to be on the Azumarill, and I guess Chun couldn't get it there. Now swaps in the Registeel, but EJB has 2 shields here. Goes straight for the superpower. EJB can actually take this. It will do a lot. And he will shield that. That's a very good shield. And now the Focus Blast definitely takes out. I think Chun knew this was basically over, so he didn't even throw his move there anymore. So Lurantis is good, just doesn't make the cut right there. So that's 2-1 for EJB right now. This time we have the Dedenne into the Trevenant. A really, really good lead for EJB. This cannot go wrong. In comes that Umbreon. Again, this is a Psychic Umbreon. I think Last Resort is better generally because Psychic doesn't hit super effective on many things. The best case scenario, you get a debuff somewhere, but worst case scenario, you are met by an Umbreon. And the thing is, EJB never saw this Psychic, I think, because if he answers with his own Umbreon here, he may have even had a little bit of a better matchup. On the other hand, though, that would have also been a bit of a worse matchup for the viewers because it would be super boring. The Umbreon can flip this. Looks like it actually still might, because this Zap Cannon doesn't take it out. Unlike Lickitung would feint to two of those moves, but the Umbreon doesn't. You need a Zap Cannon and a Focus Blast. Swaps back into the Dedenne to land this player off. That is really hard. But Trevenant again does have a good matchup here. Shadow Claws add up, C-Bomb. Actually, no shoot by Chun. This is a very safe play from EJB. And I'm actually surprised by this CMP win. I mean, I'm quite unfamiliar with the stat distribution of the Dedenne. But I know it's very attack weighted, so that's why I'm a little bit surprised. Regardless, though, in comes the Noctowl. Again, if you brought in your own Umbreon, knowing they have Psychic Umbreon, you would be in a very good spot here. And this is actually a huge misplay by EJB, because this allows that Noctowl to get so much farm on the Registeel, and EJB knows that. Doesn't throw the move. Maybe he got snarled down before getting there. But yeah, it doesn't matter. At this point, the Noctowl just cleared his debuff, and it's gonna throw so many sky attacks here. This might now be a loss for EJB. What looked so good now became so bad. In the end, Chun was always going to keep that shield for the Zap Cannon from the Registeel. On the other hand, though, what would you do as EJB? Where can you use that Zap Cannon? That was kind of a little bit of a difficult spot there. So yeah, just a tough misplay there. Because that allowed Noctowl to get so much energy that may not have been necessary. And Chun was just able to clear that debuff because his own his own Pokemon was alive. And EJB throws on alignment there, allowing the Noctowl to get to that next Sky attack by 1 turn. So now it's 2-2. And we see the same leads here, but not the same teams. This time Chun safe swaps the Umbreon, and EJB brought his Azumarill instead of that Umbreon. In comes the Psychic. I think EJB doesn't look surprised, so maybe he did know, because you can see the battles from last stream, right? So you can just see that the opponent is packing Psychic. But Psychic doesn't add up, just like the Last Resource. They don't do too much. It's actually not too bad for Umbreon if there was no player from the Azumarill, but there is, and it gets another bubble in. You honestly could have farmed a little bit more as EJB, but maybe just wanted to, you know, get rid of the Umbreon. So I don't blame him per se. And this is just a really, really hard counter matchup, because there's nothing that Chun can do with this, really. We just can't get that Noctowl aligned well. This is the flaw in Open Great League right now. One player has to bring Trevenant to counter that Dedenne, and that forces Chun to bring out that Noctowl. But it also makes EJB run that Registeel. So you get like an RPS triangle there, and it's just ugly, right? Because it's so difficult to win that, especially if you're playing against good players. At this point, EJB just throws Shadow Ball. This is very much over because he has the Zap Cannon ready. Nothing that Chun can do with this, really. Even if he gets a full farm down, EJB still has a shield. He has a Zap Cannon stored. This Shadow Ball wouldn't even take out this Noctowl. This Registeel, and getting an extra lock on in for the extra 1 damage. Zap Cannon will take it out, and unfortunately that means it's over for Chun there. So that's how EJB won the losers finals, and the locks is played in for top 2. And that means if you are top 2 in a regional tournament, that you are qualified for world championships. So congratulations to him, but it's not over yet, because we do have another opponent, which is going to be Lurgan Rocket. Let's take a look at another interview here.
Welcome back, guys. What a match. Another 3-2. Both of these players have struggled against Shun. Both of these players have played versus the Dedenne, the maybe coolest Pokemon in the tournament. EJ, how are you feeling after this match?
Yeah, I'm feeling great. I'm just feeling amazing. Like, this was probably the toughest matchup alignment-wise I could face, and I pulled it off. So I just can feel great. There's no other possibility.
I mean, you really deserved your ticket to Yokohama. Both of you did. Now it really comes down to who is winning the title of regional champion of Bochum. So do you guys, I mean, you are friends. Everyone can see that.
Yeah.
Who of you is going to take this down? Do you guys have any predictions here?
It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
At this point, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. We're both going.
We're both going. We both had a ticket to Yokohama. We both feeling good. We had a great weekend. We had a great event. And I'm going to just stomp him.
Okay, so Lurgan.
Twice.
Lurgan. You said that you wanted to face EJ in the finals.
Yes.
How happy are you that you don't have to play versus Chun's lineup?
Okay, Chun, I wouldn't be too worried about. I really did not want to play against Arceus Aurelius. Marcus had a fantastic team for against me. The Walrein is very threatening. I'm just so happy I don't have to play him. I get to play EJ in the finals. Amazing. First time we've ever played against each other for anything. And I'm going to wipe the floor with them. Easy. Bubble beam everything to oblivion. Bring your Registeel, I don't care. You don't know your matchup. But I'm super, super stoked that it's you, dude. Yeah, today's a good day. Today's a good day.
This morning, because we were sharing accommodation.
Yeah.
Okay, so you just said that they are sharing accommodation, and they just said that it was going to be a good day, and
Yeah.
I think it is for the both of them. You can see the love in the eyes for each other. Those guys are really having a good time. I think this is probably the most chill finals interview I have ever had. So what about the lineups? I think if you are sharing accommodation, you guys know each other's teams really well.
No.
No. We haven't talked
Can you pass over the microphone?
Oh, yes, sorry.
like we haven't talked about the teams ever.
Yeah.
Like, I know he runs Quick Attack Diggersby. He knows I run Azu, and I think that's about it.
That's it.
That's about it. Like again, I checked the bracket this morning or yesterday evening, and I saw the only way I could face James is basically the winners finals, grand finals. So I was like, I don't have to prepare for his team anyways. So I mean, I didn't do any preparation, not that I did for any other opponent, but I was like, I didn't even have to look at it because it's like so far away. Like if we face in the finals, then so be it, and then we just gonna see.
So you didn't team build at all together?
No.
We separate.
Yes.
Okay, so if you're looking at the team now, who do you think has the edge? I mean,
show me the team, I can tell you. No, I'm joking. I think it would be. I said earlier in the last interview that it will be a quite even matchup, team-wise, I think. And we just roll the dice, play rock paper scissors.
Yeah.
And whoever wins in the end wins.
So I think at this point we all realize that this is just pure natural talent. Both of these guys underprepared, going into the absolute grand finale, possibly achieving a bracket reset here if EJB plays it as well as Lurgan does. And this is an evil question, but who's the better player?
EJ.
I'm gonna give the edge to James. Like, maybe I think let's split it up in two sections. I'm maybe the better player in the game, like during battles, etc. But he's the better player before games. Like he knows his matchups, he knows what to do, he knows IV spreads, individual values, he knows everything. And I'm like the guy. So do I win this matchup? I think I win this, like based on those information I have, I should win this. And he's like, yeah, you win this exactly. You have like 3 HP left. You come out of this matchup with 25 energy, and you can bubble beam the next Pokemon easy. And so I say I'm the better player during the battle. He's the better player before the battle.
Considering how this interview went so far, I did not expect a real answer to this, but I think this is a beautiful note to end this interview on, because you said he's the better player. He said you are. So, guys, that was absolutely beautiful. I can't wait to watch the finals. I'm going to be sitting in the crowd, and we are going to give it back to both of our casters who are also going to cast the finals.
Cheers.
Yes, both of your casters, that is me. On the left side, we have Lurgan. On the right side, EJB. Lurgan wearing his shirt with all the signed names from a lot of good trainers from that he met at Worlds. And Lurgan getting that RPS hat there, leading his Shadow level 90s with Power Snow into the Umbreon, which honestly is not even the worst for Umbreon if you shoot the Dazzling Gleam correctly. Because 2 Last Resorts will take out the Shadow Alolan Ninetales, and he has a trend for the Azumarill. Azumarill looks really, really good against Lurgan Rocket, and that's obviously why EJB will probably always bring it. This is the sole Pokemon that Lurgan has for that Azumarill, right? Because Medicham loses, Quick Attack Diggersby doesn't do as great, Mantine doesn't do as great. I mean, it can stall the matchup. Maybe it wins the 2 shields by bubble beaming it all the way down. Trevenant does win. Shadow Alolan Ninetales loses. Galarian Stunfisk loses. They all lose to Azumarill. Now it's a Medicham mirror, but on the other hand, this is still playable for both sides. Lurgan calling the first move, but it's not a bait. EJ does watch my streams where I always say always bait, but yeah, EJ doesn't bait that time, and Lurgan did let that go. Then EJB correctly shields his Psychic, and this puts him in a really, really good spot. But also Lurgan isn't per se in a bad spot, because if he gets shields down, he can Dazzling Gleam that Alolan Ninetales. In comes another Psychic, EJB going to shield that up. There still is play though, because I think that EJB can almost completely farm this down. He is able to farm this down, and that puts him in a pretty good spot. Straight Ice Punch didn't even build up to the Psychic there, I believe. Lurgan looks a little bit surprised. Gonna try to catch a move, I think. Yeah, catches the Ice Weather Ball. Really good play. And maybe the winning play, because now Lurgan has to build up all the way to a Dazzling Gleam, and then there's still the Medicham with a lot of energy. So that might actually be a very decisive catch there from EJB, having a very bad lead, a very bad swap in, and still managing to win this battle. Could have thrown the Psychic here, but an Ice Punch was enough. Medicham actually is not bad against Shadow Alolan Ninetales. You win the 2 shields straight Ice Punch. great lead for EJB. Basically, EJB can only get one bad lead with the Azumarill. And this is for Lurgan not even the worst as well, because he doesn't have any other strong Pokemon against Azumarill. He knows his Azumarill doesn't have Hydro Pump, so Galarian Stunfisk is not even the worst. He will get 2 Earthquakes for sure here. Ice Beam only neutral, Lurgan letting it go. It's probably satisfied with his Alolan Ninetales and Medicham being safe now. Another Earthquake coming in. EJ recognizes the value of his Azumarill. Then go for another Ice Beam. I'm not sure if I 100% agree with the shield though, simply because if there is Trevenant, you don't really want to swap out at this point as EJB. But EJB does need to keep this, because if there's a Medicham in the back, he needs this Azumarill, right? First moves get shielded by Lurgan. Rocket Display will do solid damage. And now I think, do you switch here as EJB or not? It's a really difficult spot. Very good counting by Lurgan Rocket Throne right before the Play Rough. Though he has to go for a full Dazzling Gleam there. And this is not great for EJB, because Medicham can put in a lot of work here. Yes, Medicham wins 0 shields, but not on an energy deficit. Usually it's Umbreon with an energy advantage. But let's see if Medicham is good enough to take out both of these Pokemon. I can see they're talking a lot. Maybe they should have focused more on the battle. I mean, they are good friends, so that's funny to see. Another foul play is difficult to reach here, because he gets this Ice Punch right here. EJB going for that next shield, because otherwise the Registeel cannot take this down. But by shooting this and throwing this, you do give the Medicham more energy. Now going straight back into that Registeel, there is still play for Lurgan Rocket, because I believe that a Zap Cannon or Focus Blast, I might actually take out the Alolan Ninetales. Honestly though, it actually would have been somewhat comfortable for Lurgan to swap, because Registeel cannot bank moves. So let's say he caught the move, then it may have been fine still, right? Because Registeel cannot build up moves, unless EJB on the charge. That would be difficult. This Dazzling Gleam does massive damage, and now this Focus Blast come through. This might kill a Fragile Shadow Alolan Ninetales. And it actually does. EJB taking that battle despite being double weak to Medicham in the back. So I think that was a perfect showcase of how both Umbreon and Registeel are actually not the worst against the Medicham. Mantine into Registeel. That's absolutely horrible for Lurgan. He just can't get it right here. Swaps into Medicham, is answered by Trevenant from EJB. I didn't see a third Pokemon. Is it Azumarill or is it... It is the Umbreon. Looks like EJB is running that ABA against the Medicham again. And since he's cleaning it up with that Trevenant here, I think EJB feels very, very fine in this matchup. No Shadow Alolan Ninetales this time from Lurgan. You probably don't shield this. Yeah, it doesn't shield this Shadow because the Zap Cannon will definitely one-shot it. And as you can see, the charge moves just wall this... it is walled by Azumarill, right? You have water and ice. I think Lurgan's probably making a joke of debuffing his Registeel all the way down. But yeah, it doesn't really matter. EGB making correct shield here, and he's just really in the driver's spot. Because even if you lose his matchup as the Umbreon, Registeel might still be able to clean up. Because the Mantine is also just useless. Mantine is just useless against Registeel. It's such a terrible matchup. Throwing on alignment. It's just funny to see their expressions the whole time. They know they did a bit of a silly play. Lurgan just knows this is so much over. But in these play Pokemon tournaments, people don't really top left. So yeah, they're just playing this out. Yeah, going for another player, foul play. Lurgan knows that is over. So this is actually the first best out of 3 of this final. And because Lurgan came out of the winner's bracket and EJB comes out of the loser's bracket, that means now there's a bracket reset, which means Lurgan is also now on the loser's side. And now we have the absolute ground finals, in which in this best out of 3, so they're going to play another best out of 3, that one will actually be the winner of the Bochum regional. Let's take a look at the next matchup here. So yeah, the absolute finals. The winner of this matchup, ignore the two on the right side, it's gonna get reset in a sec, will win the Bochum regional. And this is a great lead for EJB now. This will be one of the more memorable regionals of regional finals of the season, because this finals stand for what Open Great League has been for a long time. Very, very polarizing matchups. Now this one doesn't look as bad because Umbreon isn't actually baits out the Alolan Ninetales here, but like the Diggersby and the Alolan Ninetales aren't as RPS for Lurgan in this case. But Lurgan really needs to find new ways to overcome EJB at this point. Azumarill, I think, is just so difficult to deal with. Dazzling Gleam comes through, still doesn't KO Umbreon. Umbreon just never faints, gets a foul play off, which is actually really nice because this allows you to possibly farm down this Alolan Ninetales. Doesn't even build up to the Dazzling Gleam, I think EJB knows, but the next Weather Ball will still take it out. So let's see what he's going to do. Actually hits the CMP on this move here. Azumarill might still hang on a little bit. Yeah, still has 1 HP. Both bulk monsters, Umbreon and Azumarill, hanging on 1 HP. That's some pretty good luck on EJB's side, even though the Umbreon one probably didn't matter as much. We have a 2-shielded Diggersby versus a 2-shielded Trevenant, and this is generally a favorable matchup for Diggersby because 2 Fire Punch with a few fast moves, whether that's Quick Attack or Mudshot, takes it out, while the Shadow Claws with the C-Bomb does not. As you can see, it just does a little bit less, but moreover, the Shadow Claws just do way less because Diggersby has so much more health, right? If you have 100, let's say for example, you have 100 HP on Trevenant and you have 150 HP on Diggersby, then the one damage you do per Shadow Claw or Quick Attack on each other, it does relatively seen more on Trevenant, right? Because Trevenant loses. Basically, it loses the same amount of HP, but it loses more of that HP bar. A little bit difficult to express it in English, to be honest. And this was a masterful play by Lurgan Rocket, waiting a turn to see if EJB threw a fast move there. And since he didn't see one, he waited for EJB to swap, and then fast move it down to win that battle. Really, that really shows some skill from Lurgan Rocket there. Again, EJB gets a really good lead here, gets a really good swap in the Reggie steal. He's just going very weak against the Trevenant at times, EJB, right? With the Azumarill Reggie in the back. If you just avoid the Trevenant like that, you're in a really good spot. The Dazzling Gleam still adds up as Shadow Alolan Ninetales, and now I really understand why Lurgan Rocket just really likes to save switch this Pokemon. But it's barely not good enough. Oh, it is good enough to get there. Oh my. It actually is good enough to get to that second Dazzling Gleam, but it won't KO. It won't KO. It gets it so low though. That's pretty impressive. But also, not great, because the Rage 2 comes out with a Focus Blast. So, yeah, that also is not great. Going for that Zap Cannon here to pull a shield, hopefully. But it doesn't kill, it's double resisted, and man, Lurgan is trying to farm down, gets it really close, barely gets it off. I don't know what these guys are saying. They're just talking the whole time. Are they singing a song or something? Earthquake comes through, doesn't do half, and in the back is an Umbreon. Lurgan is just laughing because this is just sad. This is just sad. Lurgan has 0 chance against his lineup. It is just really polarizing. And the thing is, Lurgan is basically forced to bring this Trevenant, right? Because it's his only Azumarill answer. Speaking of Trevenant versus Umbreon, there we go again. Lurgan is shambles. Safe switching the Stunfisk, in comes the Azumarill. But this actually works out well for Lurgan so far because he wants his gone for his Diggersby, I would assume. Diggersby actually is decent against Lurgan's team, and there's no Medicham this time from EJB, so Diggersby doesn't have to fear that either. First Ice Beam gets shielded. Lurgan might try to flip this, which would make sense. Who wants their Trevenant on an Umbreon? And shields the next Earthquake right away as well. EJB just giving telling his opponent, I'm not giving up switch here. And I guess Lurgan complies with that, just lets this go. Then actually saving the Trevenant, or sorry, that Galarian Stunfisk. But in comes that Umbreon again and just hardwalls it. There's just, you can see some, see that Lurgan plays a little bit desperate here because it's just so difficult to overcome if you don't get that correct alignment there. That's much more in EJB's favor if you call all the leads. Right, because that allows you to choose where you want to align everything. That's why also he chooses to shield the double shield the Azumarill to keep alignment every single time. Even though, yeah, he just needed that Trevenant really out of the way, right? With Azumarill and Registeel in the back, in comes an Earthquake. This will take out this Umbreon, and Umbreon will lose all of its HP, but Azumarill also is so healthy. Doesn't get to the Earthquake, unfortunately. That's very unfortunate for Lurgan Rocket, but it does put us almost into Earthquake range. Now, one thing about Diggersby is it's really bulky, really good coverage, but an Earthquake doesn't one-shot Registeel. So at this point, EJB could even just swap out the Focus Blast, which he's going to. Quick Attack charge is just slightly slower than a Mudshot, so it's unlikely that Lurgan gets to both Earthquake and Fire Punch here. That might knock out. I'm not even sure if Fire Punch knocks out there, to be honest. I don't think it does. But Focus Blast will take out this Diggersby. So that is game over. That is 2-1 for EJB right now. One more win for EJ. And he will be the Bochum finalist. Let's take a look here at the last battle. We have Trevenant into Metacham. This is so demotivating for Lurgan. By his face, it doesn't even look like he's complaining, but he knows Registeel comes back in to his Alone on 9 till safe switch. And again, this just looks so hard counter. Just not much you can do as Lurgan Rocket. And as we can see in the back, there's Diggersby again. I really like Diggersby on Lurgan's side, but there's also Azumarill. This time, EJ doesn't get the debuff, but he also does. Lurgan also doesn't get the next Dazzling Gleam off, which is really unfortunate because now this Registeel might be able to get 2 Zap Cannons, and you have to throw as the Metacham. He's just gonna let it go, or actually, he's gonna shoot it. He's just gonna try to farm it down. Fair. That's also a play. Double debuff that time. That does allow you to get a little bit more farm. Now going for those ice punches, but double debuffed, they just don't do as much damage here on this Trevenant. So it's a little bit of wasted energy, but also if you have an opportunity somewhere to farm up more energy as the Metacham, it is energy well spent. And now throwing the Seed Bomb super effective onto this Diggersby. There's just nothing anymore that Diggersby beats at this point because Trevenant already was on the field. We saw the Registeel, which is gone. There was nothing really that Diggersby beats anymore. The best it could have seen was that Umbreon. And, you know, what's also noticeable, EJP just never used the Noctowl either, which basically puts Lurgan Rocket already behind with his Power Snow Alolan Knights that he uses every time. As you can see, already give up there, which makes EJB the champion of Bochum. Yeah, Lurgan's not throwing the charge move anymore. He knows this is over. Yeah, just not much he could do there. And that's just a little bit disappointing. Lurgan is a really good player. EJB also is. But it just got so RPS. And that's really unfortunate. Really unfortunate in the current Open Great League meta. So I didn't include the actual winner's interview. Because EJB basically was at a loss of words. He had basically almost nothing to say. Instead, we have our own interview with EJB. Then we have the regional champion of Bochum, 23 EJB. Thank you for making some time for me and my video today on your run. Can you tell us a bit about yourself?
Definitely. Yeah, I'm 23 EJB. I'm from Austria, 25 years old. I love PvP, I love Pokemon Go, and I think that's all you have to know about me.
It's true. I think you like Pokemon Go if you go to regionals and win them, definitely. About your regional run, what were your expectations beforehand, before you went in?
So actually, my expectations were quite high. So I haven't told anyone that I'm actually going to Bochum.
Except
I think there Yeah, we had 3 or 4 people, like you, James, and Josh.
Mm-hmm.
So like those 3, and no one really else knew I would come. But I didn't want them to like tell me beforehand, like you will win this, because I didn't want to pressure myself before. But my expectations on myself were extremely high, so I wanted to get the world's invitation there at least.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, I get that. So how do you reflect on your run afterwards?
I think my run was pretty good. I mean, obviously,
You had 27 wins, 5 losses in total.
well,
Yeah, wow.
well,
In
okay, yeah,
balance.
I think it was 6 losses, but it's fine. I mean, that's still pretty insane. Like I lost to John on day 1, and I saw that then, and I was like, yeah. I messaged Josh, I messaged James, like, what do I do against the Denner? Like, I have no odds against this thing. And James was like, yeah, your Registeel has 130 HP, so it wins the 0s and 1s, so you can just try to absorb it there. But I was like, yeah, that's gonna be tough against him. But the run over was pretty crazy. I feel like it was a pretty good run. I'm pretty happy about it. Like, I think I only made one really big mistake in the entire tournament. That was in the losers finals against John again in game 4.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that was really the only big mistake I made, and I'm pretty happy about now.
How did you feel about facing your good friend Lurgan Rocket in the finals?
I mean, the interview we gave before, like, it matches perfectly how we felt. Like, it really didn't matter who
It was
wins.
so modest. Like,
yeah, we were just so happy for each other. Like, we were waking up in the morning, maybe still a bit drunk, and like we said it's gonna be a good day, and we shared accommodation in London as well, right? Where we both had good runs. Like I went LCQ, he went to 4th in Worlds. Now we shared again accommodation, and we win and go 2nd in the regional. So I think that's pretty outstanding, and like we like each other, we love each other, and it feels bad that one has to lose, especially the way he actually lost, because finals weren't that pretty. I'm obviously it's not that pretty to watch, but
yeah, very polarizing matchups.
yeah, it's like, I mean, if you lead a 12 and into a Medicham in the last game, or Registeel into a Mantine, there's like almost no way around it. So
what was his response like to that after he got hard counted over and over?
He always had a good laugh. Like he laughed all the time. I think he said he hates the game like 10 times on stage. And always like he was like, yeah, you probably have Umbreon in the back. And I was like, what do you have in the back? And he was like, yeah, Shadow Mewtwo. And he always had like, he said like he had Shadow Mewtwo in the back like 8 times. And I was like, what do I have in the back? And I was like, yeah, I have Heatran, Fusion Flare, Fusion Bolt, Heatran, like Quadruple Legacy, and we're having a good laugh. He was laughing, like he said he hates the game, he hates me, but overall we had a good laugh.
Yeah, I can imagine. All right. So in hindsight, are there any changes you like you won the regional, but in hindsight, are there any changes you would have made to your team?
Yeah, I probably wouldn't play Noctowl again.
Why not?
Noctowl, I think I played it maybe twice or 3 times the entire tournament.
Mm-hmm.
Like it always feels, I don't know, it feels like the best Pokemon in the meta, but it feels so lackluster if there are always Steel types. Has Lantern, so you always put yourself in an RPS situation.
Mm-hmm.
If you I feel like, and even Medicham, right, because like 1 counter behind and you always take the Ice Punch. You lose the 0, so you have to go down the shield first if you actually want to maintain the switch advantage. It feels like, I don't know, even though it has like flying moveset, a pretty good moveset, obviously, it doesn't fulfill the flyer job as good as it probably should. It's like only to counter Trevenant, that's like what it does best.
Exactly.
But other flyers do this as well. Like I really like the Mantine pick of James.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe even Pelipper, but overall I think I would change my flyer on the team.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, I think that's a good point. It's just a little bit of a triangle, right? Like Noctowl, Lantern, Trevenant. That's basically a triangle that's on multiple teams, and that makes it not as fun to play. I think the finals was sometimes a bit of a showcase.
Like I think it was perfect showcase why I did Meta is actually not the best at the moment.
Exactly. Thank you, EJ, for making some time for this short interview. And again, congratulations on your run.
Thanks, mate. Thank you.
All right, so that was our interview with EJB. That was the video on his run. I hope you liked the video. If you managed to watch all of it, I know it was a lot, but he made a lot of stream appearances. And again, please drop a follow on the Rocker's Twitch channel. And if you have the time to fill in the questionnaire of 5 minutes or so. Thank you, and see you in the next season, probably. Bye.